Wonder what isn't bigger in Texas. Not the crowd, that's for sure. Holy shit. Just waiting to see if this is actually going live. I think it is. Yeah, fuck it. I guess we're live. Hello, hello. Welcome to Turn15 channel. I don't have a name, so make one up for me. Austin, Kota, round 19 of the F1 Championship today. Should be a lot of fun, actually. Yesterday's sprint was a lot of fun, so hopefully it carries on through and we get a rip-roaring, quite a decent race, and I hope it's a decent race because I'm up very early for this. Hence the truncated intro. Lando Norris on pole. Verstappen second, Sainz, Leclerc, Piastri, Gasly. So it's a normal top five. Gasly a top six. That's a very surprising lap. Alonso, Magnussen, Perez in ninth. Tsunoda in 10th. That's your top 10. There's one car missing from the top 10 that was in qualifying and actually caused a big mess. He'll be starting from the pit lane today. That's George Russell. Hulk, Ocon, Stroll, Albon, Colapinto in 15th, then Bottas, Hamilton down in 17th. Real bad quality. Then Joe Guan Yu, Liam Lawson 19th with a whole laundry list of engine penalties for today. George Russell 20th. Red Bull like to start their new drivers with engine penalties, don't they? I remember Albon did that at Spa in 2019. I think it's a bit of a soft landing for him, maybe. A bit of a soft intro. God, I've got a real sheen over my eyes, don't I? It's early. I kind of need these things today. Don't really like wearing them during a race because I look like a little bit of Gendo Akari here, but, you know, never mind. Yeah, so how about that? We're on the grid. It is, what, about a minute, 2 minutes or so away from the formation lap starting. I've been awake for about 6 minutes, so let's see how this goes today. It's always a weird time of year in this part of the world, at least, watching Formula One. This shit feels like a fever dream. I mean, there I am having a fever dream, then I wake up and suddenly there's another one. Looks like a fun race, actually. I should be talking about that. Looks like a fun race. Norris on pole needs to get it right today. Fucked up the sprint race yesterday. Had a decent start and was running second until right at the end when he kind of blew it into turn one. That Carlos Sainz by on the final lap, so I think he shipped 2 or 3 points in the end to Verstappen yesterday. Needs to get this right, needs to win. Like, for a championship, absolutely needs it. Verstappen needs to stem the bleeding because apart from the sprint, I think Norris has finished ahead of him almost every single race up until now. Really needs to cut that sort of shit out. Verstappen needs to win, Norris needs to win, Sainz wants to win in third, Leclerc wants to win in fourth, and Piastri wants to win in fifth. Those three were very, very quick. Piastri was making good progress yesterday from the back of the grid in the pit lane as the cars get off on their warm-up lap. So shouldn't be very long up now until the start of the race. What am I saying? Yes, needs to win. Lando Norris needs to win. Max Verstappen, I almost said Jos Verstappen, forgive me, it's very early. Verstappen gets a win today. Fantastic. Only 5 more rounds to go, and he's looking very, very, very good for the championship. But most of all, they both need to finish. If either of them don't finish, I think it could be game over for the championship. Hopes. Max, really, I think from now on, he doesn't need to win every race at all. I think as long as he finishes second, he'll be fine. But Piastri, Sainz and Leclerc are very, very quick behind him, which is why I think he kind of needs to win. Because he's unlikely to finish second if he doesn't win, I think. Well, we'll see. It's very, very possible that he could finish well off the podium, in which case he starts shipping a whole lot of points to Lando Norris. Should Lando Norris win? Should McLaren let Lando Norris win instead of maybe messing around, faffing about with their... Ooh, there we go. With their team orders, which they've been very lax with so far. They've been very hands off with team orders. They've been more just like suggesting them rather than enforcing them. And Max Verstappen came into the weekend saying that if he were Oscar Piastri, he would never accept team orders, which is a little bit of gamesmanship, but also I think a little bit of honesty. I can't see Max Verstappen accepting that shit at all. He was the young driver at Red Bull back in the day, and I don't think he accepted a lot of team orders at all. I think his dad would have disowned him if he had. Any other news? You know, for a 4-week break, it wasn't that filled with news. There was a little bit of controversy concerning the tea tray underneath the floor of the Red Bull, which other teams are suspecting Red Bull of being able to modify in Park for May, which is a big no. Tantamount to cheating, really, but nobody's, or the FIA is saying that you cannot prove that it was done. It's just that it was possible to be done, which means it's probable that it was done. It's possible that it could have been done. And they've now cut that off. That's not going to be allowed for the rest of the season. The FIA are onto it, as Lando Norris and now Oscar Piastri are on their grid slots. Trying this thing out today, a wee lap counter. Hopefully this works well. So hey, I hope everyone watching is doing well, actually. Everyone watching. Quite optimistic on it. There's Liam Lawson coming around now. He'll be the last on the grid because Russell is starting from pit lane. Big crash, and kind of fucked a lot of people's laps yesterday at the end of qualifying, which is why it's a little bit of a mixed up grid, which is why Norris is on pole. I tell you, it's going to be fun watching this Mercedes come from the back. So, lights out in just a few seconds here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. Great start by Lando Norris. Decent start by Max Verstappen. Ferrari's getting away well as well. It looks like everyone's kind of getting away okay. Piastri not great. Verstappen's going for it into turn 1. Has to do it. Norris is pushed off. Charles Leclerc's in the lead. Oh, that's a Haas it looks like has gone around. Oh my goodness. That's that's very, very forceful. And now here the McLaren's going side by side. Oh. No, I tell a lie actually. That's an orange Alpine for some reason. It was not a Haas that's gone around. I think it was actually Ocon in the back. It's this is why I need these things. Maybe they don't work. Oh, very, very, very close between Tsunoda and Fernando Alonso there. There's Liam Lawson coming up behind. He's made up a few positions back there, hasn't he? They're already going side by side with Colapinto. And look at Leclerc just out of here. Sainz is going for it. Oh, into turn 12. And Max is pushed way, way, way out wide. A little bit of karma there, I think. Sainz trying the switch back through 13. He's around the outside. Trying another switch back. Max Verstappen stays ahead into turn 19 and then around turn 20 to end the first lap. So great news for Sainz. Sainz, Leclerc rather. It's good news for Sainz. He's up to third. Absolutely amazing news for Leclerc out in the lead now, and that Ferrari looks quick as well. Charles had 2 wins already this year, so absolutely going to be gunning for this one. Sainz about about half a second back from Verstappen now. Norris though, shit, that's a fucking horrible start, and he's going to be absolutely spitting blood in that car. Piastri stayed 5th, so let's go. Leclerc, Verstappen, Sainz, Norris and Piastri now is the top 5. Gasly's actually maintained 6th position, so great news for Pierre Gasly. We'll see how long that Alpine can stick around up there. K-Mag 7th, Tsunoda 8th, Checo 9th, so Checo hasn't really made any ground at all. Alonso 10th, so a bad start for Alonso. Sainz having another look at Verstappen into turn 12. It's a big passing corner, that one. Turn 12, it's where most moves have been made over the years. Side by side again. The Sainz looking exactly like he did yesterday in the sprint race. So I should have mentioned most of the runners are on the mediums as well. Both Mercedes on the hards. It's like a couple of other cars down near the back are on the hards as well. Stroll, Lawson, Colapinto. Everybody else on the medium, so it should play out a little bit like the sprint race at the start of this one. The cars are a bit heavier. Oh, yellow flag. Who's that? Was that Mercedes? It's Hamilton. Hamilton's out. He's beached. He can't go anywhere. I wonder if they'll try to give him a push. No. I think he might be going nowhere. So the rest of the field currently snaking through the S's. Hamilton stuck on the beach. Just out of turn 19. So I wonder if he's had a bit of a... well, we need a replay there. It's where George Russell went off yesterday. So not a happy corner for Mercedes. That's a real shame, to be honest. I was looking forward to seeing what Hamilton could do in this race. It's always fun when you get fast cars starting from the back. It actually gives you something to do after the race starts to simmer down. Hamilton's climbing out. He's done. Unbelievable. It's not often that he retires from any race, but it's also really not often that he retires from a US Grand Prix. So, that's a shame. Kimi Antonelli looking on from the Mercedes garage, and Hamilton just walking away now. Yeah. Oh, nah, he looks real disappointed. Must be a hell of a thing. You wait 4 weeks to go racing and you get 2 laps in the Grand Prix and then you're fucked. He's looking at the back of his car, so I wonder if he's made contact or if it's just come around on him. So replay at the start. So from what I saw, it was a decent start out of the first 4, really. Looks like Gasly had a good start as well. Piastri didn't really get going anywhere. So Verstappen dives to the inside, pushes Lando really, really wide, and then Leclerc just comes up the inside. Thank you very much. Served on a big Texas buffet plate. First place. Bam. Just killed it. Absolutely killed it. It's oh, and that's the contact at the back as well for Ocon. I think just your typical 3 into 1 doesn't go sort of thing. The first corner at Texas, I think, was designed just to encourage wrecks like that. So on board with Leclerc, yeah, easy light. Now on board here with Alex Albon. So I think it's going to be Albon that makes contact. Okay. So Albon's been kind of forced out a little bit wide into Ocon because Hamilton's come up on the inside of him. Again, 3 into 1 doesn't go. What can you do? Just bad luck. Yeah. Fuck, man. Lando got absolutely bullied out. Absolutely bullied out to turn 1 there. Now, Lewis Hamilton here, riding on board with... Did he have help going around? No, looks like he's just lost the rear. You could see him try to save it on the steering wheel. There wasn't like a big impact or anything. It just started going. Yeah, Hamilton, sorry guys. It's just like George Russell had. Just the rear comes around. Fucking... Well, that's a shame. That's a real shame. Anyway, so lap 4, we're under the safety car. Leclerc, Verstappen, Sainz, Norris, Piastri, Gasly, K-Mag, Tsunoda, Perez, Alonso. Top 10, so hasn't really been any movement in the top 10 since the start. First safety car since the Canadian Grand Prix. It is, isn't it? I thought we had one during Baku. Right at the end. I can't remember. Maybe it's just a VSC for the last couple of laps. Because Sainz and Perez were both in the wall then. Maybe I just assumed that they launched it and it's quite distracted. Maybe I was having a heart attack like Checo's old man. video. Norris complaining about turn 1, which he's going to have to. So this is the gamesmanship here. Norris has been shown his ass, has been put back to 4th, so now is trying to get anything thrown Max Verstappen's way. It's a little bit of... It's like in soccer when you know, sort of exaggerate maybe a tackle that's been made against you to see if you can give the other guy a yellow card. Part of the game, innit? You know. Oh. Speaking of the soccer, how about that for some scores? Just for my own amusement. Now, while we're under the safety car, and again, so what is that? The gap as it stands right now is 60. Is that 60 points? Fucking hell. Okay, so that means 60 points essentially is more than 2 races. Max Verstappen has a buffer. More than 2 wins that Norris can get, and Max can not finish, and he'll still be okay. Now, this Max Verstappen pass, who was it yesterday in the sprint who got punished for that? Who was it? Somebody did that yesterday in the sprint. I can't remember. Can I recall? But Sainz did it in the sprint yesterday, and I'm pretty sure Leclerc did it in the sprint yesterday as well, on Lando Norris. No, sorry, not on Lando Norris, on George Russell, wasn't it? And they pushed him wide, and it was okay. I think it was Gasly got pushed wide in the sprint yesterday, and that did end up getting punished. It was Piastri, that's it. So it'll be interesting to see how the stewards call that. I mean, turn 1 is always a little bit, like I said, you know, this track kind of encourages shit like that. It's happened many, many, many times over the years. It's just kind of the profile of that corner. It just encourages it, you know, like cars will just end up getting pushed wide because it's just such a deep sending into turn 1 there, and the cars are big and fat and heavy with fuel. Restart, here we go, lap 5, so it'll be coming across to lap 6. Oh, Max is absolutely gone with Charles Leclerc here. Sainz a little bit further back on the restart. Both McLarens in formation as well. Leclerc's got it covered into turn 1, a little bit conservative. Max is having a kind of a look. See, Max is going to have to go for it here. Oh. Look at them just going through those S's, the force going through those cars. Fuck, it looks phenomenal, doesn't it? You can just see the cars shifting under their weight. It's, seeing these things live is incredible. It really, really is. Like, it really emphasizes how much force is actually going through them. Oh, Lance Stroll's dropped a couple of places, so what would that be? Maybe going off in the S's somewhere. Looks like Leclerc's pulled a little bit of a gap. Stroll down to 19th now. Yeah, so something's definitely going wrong. Now, is that just the timing line, or is he actually running 19th? Yeah, he is running. At the end there, I wonder what's going on. Looks like he's keeping up speed. Actually, there's quite a nice little four-way fight back there as well. Maybe we should watch this for a little bit. Stroll trying to come back across Alex Albon. Oh, Albon, not a lot of room out there. So Albon's kind of been squeezed out there. Now Stroll's gone off the road. Ocon's kind of holding everybody up here. Great move by Ocon yesterday in the sprint, actually. I should mention that double pass on Alonso and Colin Pinto? No, it was the new kid, Liam Lawson. It just doesn't quite feel like an Austin race without Daniel Ricciardo. Kind of miss what he would have done in the paddock. Maybe he'd come through in like full, like Ace Ventura 2-2 and fucking with a football helmet, screaming touchdown and shit. It seems like up his alley. Just a visual image of that actually is quite nice. Quite nice, quite funny, whatever. It's fucking 6 AM, guys, what can I say? So, lap 7. Through turn 11. come the leaders. So Leclerc, Verstappen, Sainz, Norris, Piastri, Gasly, K-Mag, Tsunoda, Perez, Alonso. So the top 10 still maintaining all their positions. Looks like they're starting to gap at the front as well. So Checo's having a bit of a look at Tsunoda, just like yesterday, and looks like the Haas. Kevin Magnussen on Fernando Alonso. No, sorry, that'd be Nico Hulkenberg, wouldn't it? Gets right through there. Haas actually having their home race this weekend. I say a home race. I mean, America's a big place, isn't it? It feels like if it's not in like Carolina or some shit, if it's not out there, not out NASCAR way, then it doesn't really feel like a home race for him. Not any more than like Florida or Las Vegas would. If they had a prison fucking Grand Prix, it would feel a little bit more at home for Gene Haas. So just taking stock of everybody. Look at Liam Lawson and Zhou Guanyu, 12th and 13th. So, a bit of an issue for the runners behind them. Colapinto, Bottas, Russell, Ocon, Stroll, Albon. It all looks like a lot of fun back there. Everyone's kind of dicing around. Didn't see what happened to Stroll. For him to drop a few places and plummet to the back there. I'm guessing he's just gone off in the S's. So Leclerc maintaining a decent gap. We're working lap 8, as you can see here now. Lap 8 of 56. So still a long way to go. Checo still looking at the back of Yuki Tsunoda. You know, it's interesting for the amount, for a driver that has already been confirmed as having a seat for the next 2 years, the amount of chatter around Sergio Perez's seat coming from fucking Helmut Marko and Christian Horner, you know, it's just kind of crazy that they would re-sign him for 2 years and in the same year just go like, we don't really want you, to be honest. Now, this is a replay. That's Liam Lawson. And going side by side, I think, with the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll, that was. Oh, no. So Lance Stroll just, fucked it up with the S's. And then, looks like Russell would have gone for a pass on him at turn 11. Yeah. What can you do? It's not a great couple of corners for Lance Stroll. That's just what happens around that part of the track. It's if you're the only one who can't make it through that corner, you're just going to get passed by everybody. No power in the exit of the corners. No power, says Carlos Sainz. Oh. We do see no option at the moment. Keep you posted. It's costing me a lot. I know it smells like fuel. Fuck. So Carlos Sainz's car might be falling apart here. Starting to fall back a little bit. What is he running? 1.6 seconds behind Max Verstappen in third. Shit. Well, fuck, I tell you, I hope this works out alright. I hope it's not anything terminal for Carlos Sainz, because that would be really, man, that'd be really shitty. Smells a lot like fuel in the car, guys, says Carlos Sainz. Ah, fuck, we put it in the seat. It was supposed to go in the tank. Shit, whoops. Ah, fuck. I tell you, there's nothing quite like waking up early to watch your favourite guy drop out of this race. Happened a few times with Ricardo over the years. Oh my goodness, who's that? That's Zhou Guanyu has gone around. No further investigation, the steward's on Stroll, so shit. Zhou Guanyu has gone around at turn 1. It's back running now. Now, I think he's just done this by himself. Let's see. Into turn 1. Yeah, just... Yeah, Joe saying he doesn't know what happened. Whoops. It's easy to do around here. That's a shame. I mean, this is why you see Zhou Guanyu qualifying... Well, one of the reasons why you see Zhou Guanyu qualifying dead last for most of the season. He's better than being dead last every race, I'll put it that way. But that car sure ain't. And he's just got absolutely no confidence left in it. Been hearing in the week that Mick Schumacher, again, is the favourite for that seat, after also hearing that he is completely out of the running for that seat. I think it's probably the only seat left in F1 where I'm just not certain where it's going to go. I mean, a lot of the other seats have been, even if it's surprising, it's been predictable. You know, a bit of a lock up from Valtteri Bottas there as well into turn 1. So, you know, that car ain't great, is it? That Sauber, it's not only is it not great, it hasn't been getting any better through the year. It's just a total fucking mess. I mean, science, now as you can see, it seems better. Keep hanging in there. Radio 2, Carlos Sainz, that is. I mean, it looks like he is kind of hanging in there. I mean, it doesn't look like he's really dropping any speed. He's still 1.4 seconds behind Max Verstappen, so, you know, it seems okay. Charles Leclerc, by the way, so it's absolutely rocketing out. Lap 11. Most of the way through lap 11 now. Leclerc's got 4 seconds on Max Verstappen. Goodness me. Alonso's just dropped behind Liam Lawson too. So, Lawson auditioning for that Red Bull seat, like I was saying before. Yes, hello. Like I was saying before, Checo has been announced in that seat for the next 2 years. And then basically ever since that announcement, it's just been, we'll see who's in the seat. It's probably the biggest vote of no confidence you can get. I mean, Checo, I think he's better. He's a better driver. I think he deserves better than that. I think he deserves better from Red Bull than that, because that kind of shit, I mean, it would kill your confidence, and this is a confidence sport. You really need to feel the team behind you, and Checo is a driver especially who rides on confidence. Like, he needs the team in his corner. He needs them helping him out. So that's a replay of Lawson getting past Alonso, just a bog standard send it and go into the hairpin at turn 12. Oh, and Alonso getting squeezed a little bit afterwards. Actually, he and Liam Lawson had a right old... Yes, I know. He and Liam Lawson had a right old coming together yesterday. Are you excited, huh? No love lost between those two. It's been a very challenging part of the season for Fernando Alonso, actually. So Piastri looks like he might be going for a strategy change. Yes, hello. Look, at least say hello on the camera if you're going to do that. Leclerc up to nearly 5 seconds in the lead now, so, you know, it's looking, if if things keep going the way they are and there's no big curveballs thrown the way the leaders, I think Leclerc's got to have this one sewn up already. That's a big lead already. I mean, any sort of undercut is basically covered by 5 seconds. You're just kind of waiting for a catastrophe now. Norris running 3 seconds behind the Ferraris. So the Ferraris aren't really that... I don't think they've brought any major upgrades to Austin. I can't remember them bringing anything major. Unlike Mercedes, unlike Red Bull, McLaren, they've got some pretty decent new bits in their car. I don't think Ferrari has brought anything to this race specifically, and they've been adding, new bits to their car over the last few races. I think Baku was their last major upgrade, and well, it was on pole there, almost won there. That car's really starting to come back because it was very competitive at the start of the year. All right, it got beat, mostly by Max Verstappen. Still won Monaco, still won Albert Park. But look at this. Leclerc is absolutely coming back here. That's George Russell on. Oh, that's very close on Valtteri Bottas. Watch out, you two. Leclerc says he wants plan B or C. Fuck, I wonder how many plans Ferrari have. I wonder if any of them are any good. I mean, 5.5 seconds now, Leclerc to Verstappen. I'm not sure he even really needs a plan. I think he just needs to keep going as he's going. 5.5 seconds, that kind of covers an undercut, doesn't it? I mean, all they have to really do now, as McLaren are about 10 seconds behind Charles Leclerc, forget it. Unless they really start doing something, McLaren are already out of it. So Leclerc at this point, all he has to do is just mirror whatever Verstappen's doing. Verstappen pits, Leclerc pits a lap later. It's fine. Should have him covered. Okay, so Red Bull is saying that they've seen an issue on Verstappen's car and they're going to sort it out in the stop. So whether that's... maybe they need to adjust the T-tray now, get that car working. So McLaren still, as it runs, will be putting a tiny, tiny bit more daylight between themselves and Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship. McLaren look pretty fucking sewn on for that now, don't they? Russell past Colapinto into turn 12 and up to 13th. So George Russell's making a decent recovery here. Now, in a few laps' time, well, maybe in a few more laps' time, actually, just looking at the gaps, George Russell will end up catching up to Checo Perez. I can't see him getting held behind Alonso very long. Liam Lawson will see. Hulkenberg will see. And then up to Checo, and then that'll be the really interesting thing. Because, I mean, in theory, Checo should be a really, really difficult car to pass. So, we'll see what he can do. Anyway, yeah, like I was saying before with Checo, it's, never seen a... It's cat, I'm not having fun. I've never seen a driver get announced for 2 years, for 2 seasons, not just like a 1 year extension. 2 seasons. That's supposed to be a vote of confidence, and then immediately they say, yeah, that's trying to just give the guy confidence. But then also talking about replacing him, just non-stop. It's crazy. I think Checo's been kind of hung out to dry this season, to be honest. I mean, I don't think he's really helped himself the last couple of years now. I think he's not driven with the same vigor that landed him the seat from, say, 2020, or, when he got the seat in 2021, he was fucking brilliant in it. Absolutely brilliant. Picked up a couple wins that year. Was very instrumental in the title fight as well. And was a great wingman. Was a great wingman. Probably better than Valtteri Bottas was. I think the best thing Bottas did that season, just off the top of my head, was go bowling at the start of Hungary. No. George Russell, penalty, forcing another driver off the track. Yeah, what can you do? It's a rubbish weekend for Mercedes, isn't it? So, forget what I was saying about George Russell maybe catching up to Perez. He's not going to do it by the pit stops, and that 5 seconds is really going to fuck around. With his recovery, now what is this? So it was for Bottas. Fuck off. Is that seriously what they're giving him the penalty for? That is absolute horseshit. If that's what, if that is what, that cannot be the incident. That cannot be it. George Russell has gone. Okay, it's a forceful pass. Bottas has gone off the road. Bottas has gone off the road coming out of the corner. But I mean, so Russell radio, we've got a 5-second penalty for forcing Valtteri off the track. Yeah, Russell, what? He's totally blindsided by that. That is surely not. I feel like BT here. It can't be. It can't be. Sorry, I mean, just looking at turn one, and fucking Verstappen on Norris, that ain't a penalty. But that was far fucking worse. Far worse. Yesterday even, like, the Ferraris on George Russell were pulling basically the exact same move. Fucking hell. Wow. That is an all-time low. Boy, oh boy, wowee. What is going on? Total joke, George, with the penalty. Total joke. Radio to George Russell. I don't think the team should be telling him that. It's just going to get him fired up. I think they need to calm him down, if anything. They just need to say, yeah, we'll discuss it after, we'll discuss it after. Just try to bore him that way. If you got the team telling you, like, nah, it's a joke, fuck everything, and, you know, things like that, it'll just get your driver fired up. And then he's liable to start doing silly shit, making mistakes. 5-second penalty for that. Fucking Christ. That's just horseshit, isn't it? There we go. A little bit of OCD there. So George Russell now. Oh, here we go. Sergio Perez finally on Yuki Tsunoda. Lap 17. Lap 17 it's taken for him to get there. And Tsunoda's coming right back at him. This is just like the sprint yesterday. So Honda apparently have been giving Red Bull a little bit of a nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Hey, you know, we've done you a lot of favors with this engine. Maybe you'd like to give Yuki Tsunoda at least a test day. So it's kind of funny, like, besides Marco and Horner, like, even, and Liam Lawson as well, like, now even Honda are getting on the, like, well, you're going to replace him, like, sort of train. It tells me the inner workings of that team, like, Checo's not going to be back next year. If Lawson's in the seat, it's still even talking about maybe Ricciardo will come back as well, so... just get the feeling Checo's just not going to be there next year. I mean, who knows with Red Bull? Just a replay of George Russell getting by Fernando Alonso there. Kevin Magnussen in the pits and then out of the pits. On lap 18. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty stock standard one-stop race. Definitely no chance of any rain today. It's looks like a hot, sunny Texas day. Right. So the Sauber's running right at the back. K-Mag has just stopped, is running 17th. Albon stopped early as well, but for mediums. I missed that actually, Albon going in the pits. That would have been under the safety car. But to put mediums on, I mean, surely he's going to have to stop again then. I think it's just more of a plan change than anything else. Oh, side by side, Hulkenberg and Tsunoda here. Ah, Yuki just squeezes him out. Oh. And Tsunoda into the pits now. It's a great little bit of side by side. Gasly in the pits too. I mean, at this point, you may as well give Tsunoda a test in the Red Bull. I don't think Red Bull themselves are confident at all with whatever Tsunoda can do for that second seat. I mean, really, all you need is somebody like Checo, but 2021 Checo. You know, that's all you really want for the second Red Bull seat. You want somebody who's going to be there, going to help out strategy-wise, and also picking up a decent amount of points for the Constructors' Championship. You don't want somebody who's going to really upset the apple cart or give Verstappen too hard a run for his money. K-Mag has jumped Gasly and Tsunoda as well. That's a hell of an undercut. Holy shit. I mean, Tsunoda... No, sorry, I tell a lie anyway. K-Mag has definitely jumped Pierre Gasly, who was running out of him. Tsunoda was a little bit behind anyway. That's 4 seconds though, goodness me. So Leclerc now, lap 20 of 56. Almost halfway through this race already. Leclerc, Verstappen, Sainz, Norris, Piastri. Perez now up to 6, but the pit stop shuffle has started. Charles Leclerc has 8.3 seconds back to Verstappen. Almost 10 seconds from Verstappen to Sainz, so... No, sorry, I tell a lie. It's the gap. 8 seconds back to Verstappen, only about 2 seconds from Verstappen to Sainz. So Sainz is hanging in there. Norris, Piastri not that far behind those two either, but Leclerc is absolutely just bolting away at the front there, like 8.2, and it's only going to get bigger. That's what she said. Gonna alter this a little bit. Ooh. Nah, pretty as a picture. Lovely. So anyway, Tsunoda now 17th. We'll see if Honda get their wish. We'll see if Tsunoda does end up getting a test run in a Red Bull car, because he's never done one. Never. He's never even had the opportunity. He's never sat in a Red Bull seat. Probably unless he snuck in there overnight. And Piastri saying the graining's cleared off his tyres a little bit, so good news for Oscar. I think the top 5 are just kind of locked now. It really does depend on the pits situation here. Sainz 1.5 seconds behind Verstappen, so he could still make the jump. Norris and Piastri still close enough, Norris especially close enough to maybe do something. Close enough to maybe do something in the pits, but fuck, I tell you, Leclerc I think has got this one sewn up now, assuming nothing goes wrong. And it is Charles Leclerc, so you never know if that Ferrari is just gonna like fall apart on him. Remember, what was it, 2022, leading in Baku when the car blew up, leading in Spain rather, when the car failed. Ooh, who was that? Colapinto, I think. No, I tell a lie, it was Alex Albon, kicking up a little bit of dust there in the S's. It's Colapinto, right? Oh, George Russell right behind. Staiki Tsunoda. No, it's Liam Lawson. It's early, guys. What can I say? It's very early. Carlos Sainz in the pits. That is definitely Carlos Sainz in the pits. So, who's impressive actually right now? Colapinto hanging right behind Fernando Alonso. Still keeping in there. And Colapinto wasn't even all that much of a standout in F2. He really wasn't. He was good. He was decent. Decent. But he certainly wasn't a headline act from F2. And look at him there. It's going great. Actually, a bit moving in F2. Dennis Hauger, F3 champion, F2 race winner. Looks like he's moving to IndyCar. He signed with the Andretti Indy what do they call it nowadays? I'm going to call it Indy Lights. It's probably the best name for it. He signed with their team. So looks like Dennis Hauger, who's only I think 21 or 22 or something, still very, very young. It looks like he's already gone. Zane Maloney, Sauber Reserve actually is looking like he's just giving up on F1 and going to Formula E of all things. Oh, that's Kevin Magnussen getting forced out wide by Alex Albon. Now, is that going to be a penalty? I wonder. Oh, Kevin Magnussen going up the inside this time of Alex Albon. Ends up making the move stick. So Kevin Magnussen, car number 20 in 14th place. Here we go. Albon Magnussen, turn 12, forcing another off track. Noted here's Colapinto. Sending it on Fernando Alonso. Makes it work. Alonso's trying to come back. He's not going to be able to. That car just doesn't have the speed today, does it? Something's gone on with Aston Martin. They were making a lot of noise about Generation 3, whatever the fuck that was, over the last couple of weeks. But, you know, if they're talking about Generation 3 and it's not a Camaro or a Mustang, and those guys weren't a Bathurst, then, well, sure ain't the Gen 3 that I like. Norris Radio, they're trying to extend Lando's stint, saying that the Deg looks better. The Deg looks better than the cars ahead of him. I mean, the tyres really get punished. The tyres really do get punished around this track, because there's just the high speed S's really are what absolutely tears the car apart. And what does it turn 16, 17, 18? Don't leave me out for too long. I don't want to be under pressure. Leclerc, 10 seconds, mate. Fucking forget the pressure. I don't think there is any pressure. You're fine. So now it becomes a balancing act of don't pit too early. If you pit early, you get a great undercut. However, the tyres will fall apart, and this is definitely a track where you can make an overtake. And if you have a lot faster tyres at the end of the race, maybe you can make a move or two happen. So just trying to find that fine line. But if they're switching to hard tyres at the end of this, I mean, what are they working? Lap 23. They're on lap 24 now. It's Kevin Magnussen getting by Lance Stroll. Bit of a replay there. Oh, buddy, you are very heavy. You're a very heavy little guy, aren't you? Huh? Oh, goodness me. No further investigation. Albon Magnussen forcing another driver off the track. Right, so I don't know what the fuck is so fundamentally different there with George Russell. That, to me, I don't like that penalty. I really don't. Maybe I'll change my mind on a replay, but I think they've completely fucked that one. I can't remember seeing anything all that bad there. I really can't. If this is all stemming from Max Verstappen complaining about dive bombs from Lando Norris in Austria, which was, again, gamesmanship. Hoi. Leclerc, 10.5 seconds now. Fucking forget about it. I don't think even Ferrari could mess this one up now. How many more laps can you do at this pace? Question. I'm okay. Yeah, let's focus on Plan C, says Charles Leclerc. Plan C is Plan Charles. And the plan is that Charles will win, and it looks like that plan is going to come true. Ah, goodness me. All right, a little bit of coffee. Maybe I'm starting to come alive here. Oh, you're very heavy, buddy. Come on. How about you go down here for a bit, huh? Oh, I know. Oh, goodness me. Can't feel my bloody legs anymore. Oh, I don't know why you get cat beds and all these peripheries and peripherals, and all they want to do is just sit on you. Huh? I wouldn't mind it if you were as big as a pea, but you're not. Fucking as big as a dog lately. So, fuck it, here we go. Lap 25 of 56, so nearly halfway. Leclerc, Verstappen, Norris, Piastri, Sainz, Perez, Hulk, Russell, who's still got a penalty coming for him, Lawson, and Colapinto. That's your top 10. So Sainz on the hards. Doesn't really look like he's... It's about a second a lap quicker than Verstappen last time out. Verstappen, who has just hit the pits. Here we go. So, right, all Ferrari has to do is pit the next lap. That's it. I think they're trying to extend. It's not the cleanest of pit stops out of Red Bull. 2.7 seconds, so it wasn't a catastrophe, but I did see them going for that double, you know. He got double jabbed with the air gun, and here comes Carlos Sainz over Max Verstappen. There it goes. So Carlos Sainz way past him, so that undercut definitely does work. So, Sainz jumps Max Verstappen. Now it all comes about, like I was saying before, that balancing act. How is the tyre offset going to be at the end? Kevin Magnussen getting past Esteban Ocon there. So Kevin's having a pretty decent race. He's had a decent weekend. And Leclerc box. Perfect, that's all they need to do. Just mirror whatever Verstappen's doing. They'll be fine. Ahem. And Leclerc diving into the pits. Oh, bit of a slide going through there as well. Down to 80 k's an hour. Looks like he hit that mark perfectly. Now how's the pit stop going to go? Bog standard, 2.5 seconds is pretty alright. So he's had a faster stop than Verstappen as well. Norris goes by, but Norris has not stopped yet. Piastri should do it too. Yep, there he goes. And then he's just got an age of space back to Carlos Sainz, who's just set the fastest lap as well. Checo in the pits too. Ooh. Gaggle of 3 cars back here. Now this is where it gets interesting in terms of strategy, because if Albon, Stroll, or Gasly end up colliding here, it could trigger a safety car. Should give everybody something to think about. Alonso in the pits too, so Stroll having a look into turn 1 around the outside. Stroll with a big sweeping move around the outside, and he's got it nailed there. Pierre Gasly still right behind these two. Can't really do anything into turn 1 at least. God, you can see just how overweight that Alpine is. It's gotten better through the year, but it's a big fat fucker, that car. Just doesn't quite have the grip to hold on. I mean, it's got quite a lot of aero wash through the S's there, but it just looks like such a big lazy shopping trolley of a car to try to steer. Gasly, who has pitted here. Stroll has not. Stroll started on the hards, by the way, and Albon, who has pitted, but that was on lap 3, and he's still on the mediums as well, so you could say, for all intents and purposes, the front two here have not pitted, but Gasly behind him has. Oh, I mean, Gasly looks okay out of the corner exit, so he's definitely got a lot more grip on those tyres. Going around the outside of Albon here makes it work as well. And then he's clear ahead into turn 19. That's who's that? Hulkenberg in the pits. 3 seconds. Oh, actually, you know what? That's a little thing to talk about. Just looking at that Haas, they have a Toyota dealerino now, don't they? A tech deal with Toyota, not engines or anything really. Mechanical adding to the car, Stroll in the pits. It's not that they're picking up any sort of Toyota bits, they're just using Toyota engineers. It's an interesting way of running a team, and it's not entirely complimentary of an interesting, but it's not in. Oh, Gasly, is that passing off the track? I wonder what the stewards will say about that. It looks like he was forced off the track, but I mean, to me, I don't see anything wrong with that sort of shit. I don't know. It just, if the car is sort of getting forced off the track, then I don't really see a whole lot wrong if it then decides to race out there and make the pass stick. I don't know. It doesn't look like it's really cutting a track or anything, does it? Yeah, leaving the track and gaining an advantage noted. So that will probably be Gasly given a 5-second penalty for that, unless nope, because Sonoda's between them now, so he can't even correct. He can't even correct that track position. So that's probably going to be a penalty. Maybe it's just because it's for like what 13th place. So just I don't know. I see that move and I'm just like I see that in IndyCar. I see that in NASCAR. Like we are in Texas. You know, when in Rome. Yeah. Anyway, Haas. It's not entirely complimentary. The interesting way that they run their team, but it's also not entirely critical either. It is an interesting way of running the team. Toyota's got some decent engineers who work in the World Endurance Championship, World Rally, and things like that, and putting them to work in the F1 team, in a team that has a very small staff count, in a team that is relying on so far on Dallara to make its bits. Black and white flag for Gasly track limit. So that's not, I think, the pass around the outside. I think that's he's pushing it too wide, probably at turn 19. So hey, lap 30, we're past halfway here now. So yeah, under investigation, so that'll be a penalty for Pierre Gasly, I would assume. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I could kind of see it. I don't know. Maybe I just don't give a shit because it's Pierre Gasly and Alex Albon fighting over no points. So Sainz now 6.7 seconds behind Charles Leclerc. Ferrari's running third and fourth. McLaren's 1 and 2. Norris ahead of the Piastri, but they have not pitted. I mean, if they wanted to, I think they've got the room to double stack them, but I don't know if they really want to do that. They're definitely pushing for a one-stop. Hearing chatter from the commentators here saying that Sainz might actually go for a two-stop strategy. I don't know about that. I mean, he's on the hard tires, but surely track position here. It's only a four-lap differential between he and Verstappen. Yeah. Yeah, it is only 4 laps between Sainz and Verstappen in terms of their tyre life. I mean, surely you'd want to keep him out there. Unless they're thinking that the McLarens are going to be just crazy fast compared to them and can get by which 10 laps or so of a tyre difference, maybe. McLaren's haven't really imposed themselves in this race yet, though. They were quite comfortably 4th and 5th before. I don't know what the fuck you do about Checo now. I just see him down in 9th place, and yes, he's already made the stop. He's just not, Baku aside, he's just not really come alive this year. You had a few podiums at the start of the year and everyone was saying Checo's back, and I was just thinking, no, he's not. Checo, when he's back, that's when he's fighting for wins, like he was at Baku last season, like he was in Saudi Arabia last season. Big slide for Norris, who's coming into the pits now. And Piastri stays out. Piastri, who has fallen behind Charles Leclerc on the road as well. 2.2 seconds stop for Lando Norris, so that is a quick stop. Solidly quick stop, that is. Yeah, so Zach Brown saying that Sainz Verstappen could be within range of Lando Norris by the end of the race. So Norris is right now about Tsunoda Albon incident noted, forcing another driver off the track. I can't recall seeing that one. So Norris is about 10 seconds between himself in 5th and Sainz in 3rd. We'll see. Let's see how it goes. It's what is he? 17 seconds to Leclerc. It's interesting, actually. It should be a decent. I mean, what is it? It's only a 5-lap differential between Norris and Leclerc. I'd say only 5 laps. It's 1 lap around here punishes these Pirelli tires enough. This looks like this could actually bubble over quite well. It looks like a pretty solid Leclerc the beatdown today. But this sort of an offset in strategy. And the McLaren is quick. Norris was on pole. I think we actually could be headed for a quite decent final 10 or so laps in this race. So now the top 5 have stopped. Leclerc, Sainz, Verstappen, Norris, Piastri is your top 5. Then George Russell is in 6th, has not stopped yet. Lawson in 7th. Colapinto in 8th. So Russell, Lawson, Colapinto have not stopped yet. Russell will have Pierre Gasly penalty. There it is. That'll be for forcing another driver. No, for passing another driver, rather, off the track. Yeah, leaving the track and getting an advantage, so... That said, it was Albon who he passed, and he is now 6 seconds ahead of him, so, Just what the commentators are talking about now. Anyway... So looking back on to George Russell from Oscar Piastri here. George Russell is about half a second behind Oscar Piastri, but Piastri has pitted. George Russell has not, so I couldn't imagine George would be making a move on him here. He shouldn't have the grip. So radio to Piastri, they're saying that Sainz pushed his tyres quite hard to undercut Verstappen. I think Sainz could be vulnerable here to the McLarens. I mean, really, the big thing is Norris has to get past Max Verstappen, and we saw into Turn 1 today just how hard they're willing to race each other. How hard Max is willing to race Lando Norris, especially. Saw it yesterday too in the sprint. As long as, this is really it. Verstappen just needs to hold onto Lando Norris. He needs to hold on to him. Either finish right behind him or don't let him by. And you only really have to get turn 11 and turn 20 right here. Because turn 12 and turn 1 are the big passing opportunities. It is possible to pass elsewhere. It is possible to get it done. But it's a big risk passing in the S's or passing around the outside of that whatever that big hairpin is where turn 18, 17, what do they count as 16, 17, 18? I don't know. There's a lot of corners here. Either way, that big right hand sweeper, that's a big risk to pass around the outside there, even around the inside there. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when Norris catches up to Verstappen, as I'm expecting he should. Now, whatever they said that they would fix during Verstappen's stop, we'll see what that means. Which to me was either, it could just be something like tyre pressure, because it didn't look like they were really, shoving their hands in and adjusting anything on the car. I mean, that stop was only, 2.7 seconds. It's not a lot of time to really make any adjustments there. So Checo now half a second behind Colapinto. Lawson's further up the road as well. It's not really getting anywhere, Checo here. So he's on 8 lap old tyres. Colapinto has yet to stop. It's lap 35. Oh my goodness, look at this, I've actually got chats. I just realised I don't even have the fucking doc up. Crap. I haven't been ignoring them, I swear to God. Leaders seem to throw each other off the track at turn 1 every year here. It's pretty funny. They do. And if you're George Russell, you tend to throw the leader out of the race. I'm not sure I'll ever forgive that. Carlos Sainz turnaround. Yuki Tsunoda penalty for forcing another driver off the track. I'm not sure I remember that one, and I don't much care for it. 2024 Sauber is the worst car since the 2023 Sauber. It's dog shit, and that car just keeps going backwards. It's terrible. It's fuck. Sorry, I meant to have that chat up here in OBS. Where are we? Boom. Boom, this is what happens. Oh. There we go. There's a chat. This is what happens when a race starts at 6 in the AM and you're sleeping until about 10 to. Fuck it. This part of the season is all about punishment, I find, and it is punishing me specifically for following this fucking sport. This is a replay of Alonso on Valtteri Bottas into what looks like turn 12. Yes, it is. Pretty... Okay, so what is this? This is the replay. It's Tsunoda on Albon. What the fuck? This is horseshit. That's not a penalty. They've absolutely fucked this. Who the fuck's doing the stewarding this weekend? Is this fucking Johnny Herbert again, or is this some other retard? Sorry, this is shit. This is absolute horseshit. Forcing another driver off the track, they're sending it. I've said this so many fucking times in the past. At some point, if you're the car getting passed, you have to concede it. You have to concede the corner. You have to concede that you've been passed and get off the fucking throttle. Otherwise... anyone can just send it down the inside, and then as long as you just, if you get somebody going down there inside of you, oi, and then you just hang it around the outside, you can just incur a penalty for them. It's horse shit. I don't like it. And trying to pull this sort of horse shit in America, the land of, the free, the home of the brave, and the birthplace of forcing another driver off the track and also driving off the track to make a pass, like Zanardi at Laguna Seca. Liam Lawson in the pits here for his first stop. From memory, that is his first stop. Yes, it is. It's Lawson doing a decent job here. And is Tsunoda going to get by? Now, this is going to be interesting. Tsunoda locks up into turn 1. Lawson stays ahead. Yuki, that's it. That's your Red Bull seat gone, buddy. Right there in that moment. Not that he was ever really going to get it. I don't know why they're hanging on to him, to be honest. I mean, I know it's a Honda thing with Yuki Tsunoda, but this is his, what, 1, 2, 3, 4... fourth season. Oh, how about that? He will be back for a 5th season in that car next season. Next year. And if it's back to being a junior team, which it looks like they want it to be, I mean, Red Bull, they're saying they want it to be a sister team, then they say they want it to be a junior thing. First you say you don't want to commit, and now, would you come down from there? Like, Red Bull just don't know what the fuck they're doing. This is Perez finally getting by Colapinto. Red Bull don't know what they're doing because Checo is in this seat and they don't want him there, but he also brings a whole lot of pesos with him, and they do like that money, and they want to replace him, but they don't really know who with. Tsunoda, how has this happened? Oh, that's a classic Visa Cash App RB strategy there, where they just kind of fuck their lead driver over. I mean, because it's not going for a win, I was going to say every weekend, because it's not going for a win any weekend, it looks like a lot of people don't really pay attention to how bad the strategies are in in that team. Yeah, just telling Tsunoda it's because Deg's high and there was a penalty, a bullshit penalty as well. Absolute horseshit. But wait, that penalty hasn't even been served yet, so what the fuck are they talking about? Who knows? See, this is what I'm talking about. That team has probably the worst rubbish strategies since Ferrari. I mean, even Ferrari looked like fucking prime Red Bull compared to them. Anyway, lap 39 already, can you believe it? Leclerc, Sainz, Verstappen, Norris, Piastri, that's your top 5. Then George Russell, who has still yet to stop in 6th. Then Checo, Colapinto, again who has yet to stop, K-Mag, Hulkenberg. So both Haas's in the points. Again, they had a double point finish yesterday. That's a hell of a homecoming for that team. I wish they'd do their cars up for an American race, like those old Gurney, what is it, the All-American Racer Indy cars, like with the eagle at the front and all of that shit. That'd be fucking great. Not that it matters anyway. Hulkenberg by K-Mag, who has just hit the pits actually, after 21 laps. So he feels that he's pushed those tyres as far as they can go. Sainz is pushing 17 laps on his, so it looks like is everyone going to try a second stop? I'm pretty sure McLaren wouldn't. 15 seconds, Leclerc to Norris. I don't think Leclerc can do the pit stop then. 22 seconds, Leclerc to Piastri. Those McLarens are just hanging right in that window. If Leclerc was to try a second stop, he would definitely, and he's just set the fastest lap, so, you know, it's not exactly like he's suffering on those tyres. After only 13 laps, this is a replay of Liam Lawson on Pierre Gasly into turn 12, bottom of the hill at the hairpin. Looks like a pretty bog standard move there. Yeah, Gasly doesn't fight him either. Easy as you like. Easy as you like. That Red Bull seat is a whole fucking mess, and Red Bull are just flailing now. It's they remind me a bit of Chelsea, the soccer club Chelsea, where they got a stack of cash They have a lot of recent success. Maybe not the last couple of seasons, but they have a lot of recent success, Champions League winners, Premier League winners, etc., etc. But you read about behind the scenes and what's actually going on there, the power struggles, the how they do their hiring of their athletes, and it's just mind-boggling that they actually even managed to get a team bus together and organize shit like that, let alone actually winning anything. I mean, Jos Verstappen has been sounding the alarm for quite a while now. We've seen a bit of an exodus out of Red Bull. A lot of senior management, a lot of senior designers and engineers and senior managers are all leaving that team. This is guys who have been there for years and years. And it cannot be a coincidence that all of these guys are basically leaving within a year of each other. It smells a little bit like Erebus, if you know what I'm saying. And that seat, they're fucking around with it. They've got plenty of junior drivers at their disposal. Arvid Lindblad is the big one. That's the big one. That's the one to wait for as we watch Colapinto and K-Mag going side by side. Russell in the pits too, finally making his stop. Serving his 5-second time penalty. That's such a load of horse shit, honestly. Stewards have absolutely fucked him today. Totally fucked him. Oh, look at that. K-Mag just absolutely cluttering that. Clattering rather. Cluttering his front wing with debris and clattering that curb. And Colapinto stays ahead. Colapinto has been very, very impressive. Very impressive so far. Honestly, I think he's been just a revelation. It's been fantastic. Oh, as I say that, how's that for a commentator curse? He's gone around. Who is that? I think that is Colapinto that's gone around. No, sorry, I tell a lie. It was Yuki Tsunoda. It was the other blue car. His Colapinto has actually gotten ahead of Kevin Magnussen. No, rather, he stayed ahead of Kevin Magnussen. It's, I'll tell you, these early starts really do a number on me brain. 15 laps to go. Oh, Carlos Sainz has just set the fastest lap. So Tsunoda, I saw that at the top, from a distance at the top of the screen. It looks like he just looped it by himself. A little bit like, who was it did at the start of the race? Zhou Guanyu. It looks a bit like that, where he just got loose. Rear end came around and then that was it. Here's a replay. So again, he goes deep. He did that a couple laps ago into turn 1 and the rear just comes around on him, yeah. Oh, and Colapinto did go very wide right behind him. So that's why Kevin Magnussen, who also almost went off at turn 1, so that's why they were so close together in the S's. Oh, that is decent, forceful defending out of Colapinto there as well. He's just grabbed his chance by the horns, hasn't he? It's a shame he probably won't be back. Depending on whatever happens with that Sauber seat for next year. Colapinto is a very interesting proposition for that seat, and I've heard his name mentioned maybe with getting the Visa Cash App seat, but I mean, Red Bull already have Isaac Hadjar at their disposal. They have Arvid Lindblad, who I think is their next Verstappen. That's the one they've got a real proper eye on for the future. So I'd say Liam Lawson, no matter what he does now, is probably just going to be a stopgap. That second Red Bull seat really has just been a stopgap ever since Ricciardo left. They didn't want to put Gasly in there, but they were kind of forced to, and that was a disaster. They didn't want to put Albon in there, but again, they were kind of forced to, because the alternative to that was Danny Kvyat, who they didn't want to do again. And Albon did okay, but 2020 was just a total shit of a season. I think Hamilton turning him around in Austria when he was really, I think, on for the win with only a few laps to go. Brand new tyres both those Mercedes were on olds. That I think is the one. That's like the sliding doors moment, I think. If Hamilton just concedes the corner and doesn't try to force anything, I think Albon is a race winner and might even still be at Red Bull. You never know. and maybe Checo's out of F1 entirely then, because again, they didn't want really to get rid of. They didn't really want Albon, but they didn't really want to keep him. And they didn't really want to get rid of him, rather. They were kind of forced to. He had a rubbish season, and I think Red Bull knew that they needed something better for 2021, or at least something more dependable. I mean, Albon had a pretty okay final race for Red Bull in Abu Dhabi, if I remember correctly. He finished a little bit behind Verstappen, but was mostly there. In fact, no, he finished off the podium, but Verstappen won that race, didn't he? So, yeah, a little bit further behind. However, 2021 comes around, Checo's in the seat, and he does great, and they think that they've lucked into something, but, I mean, since really early 2022, it's just not been the same there. Now they need another one. Now it could be Lawson, who they passed up for a seat like 5 or 6 times already. You know, they could have had him full-time, but they put De Vries in the seat instead. At the start of 23, then they could have replaced De Vries with Lawson and they went for Ricciardo. Then they could have kept Lawson in after he was an injury sub for Ricciardo, but they brought Ricciardo back. Then they kept Ricky in the seat for this year instead of promoting Lawson. It could have been him after Miami, it could have been him after Spain, or him even after the summer break, and he's finally got his chance. And even now, I get the feeling Red Bull aren't really all that keen on him anyway. Because Red Bull, when they're keen on a driver, look at Max Verstappen. If they're keen on a driver, they move heaven and earth to do things for him. They become ruthless with that seat. So, it's just not quite the same team since Old Man Mateschitz fell into the past tense. Anyway, while I've been waffling on, Lando Norris has caught right up to Max Verstappen. So, a 6-lap tyre differential here. 10 laps to science ahead of both of them. So that McLaren, once again, looks way, way, way quicker than that Red Bull. And this is what I was talking about before. How hard does Verstappen want to race Norris? Is he okay with finishing behind again? Or, I mean, 11 laps to go. Oh, really, it's 12 laps to go, isn't it? Including the next one. I mean, maybe Verstappen does want to fight this. Maybe he does really want to push this. Looks like he was a little bit wide coming out of turn 20 there as well. He just needs to stick ahead into turn 1 and into turn 12. That's really all he needs. We've seen Verstappen in a intense title fight before, and it was really, really, really fun. I don't see this title fight. Maybe between Horner and Zach Brown, there was a bit of animosity, despite them being cuddle buddies on a private jet afterwards. It's going to be very interesting, actually, Verstappen versus Norris. It's a very different proposition of Verstappen versus Lewis. Not only because Verstappen is now the reigning champ and really the king of F1 right now, and Norris is the new up-and-comer. But Norris is also, like 2021, I think Norris is in the fundamentally faster car than Verstappen. Just like Hamilton had, especially by the end of the season. And like Lewis Hamilton was doing that year, he's gunning for him. Verstappen's had a great start to the season, and now it's really the comeback for Lando Norris. Hamilton almost got him too. Almost got him. I mean, I don't know if we really need to relitigate Abu Dhabi again, but... Norris is very, very close. Half a second into turn 1. Not quite close enough to make a move. The thing is, if you're going to try to make a move on Max Verstappen, you really got to have your wits about you, because he is as aggressive as they come. Hyper aggressive driver. Colapinto past Gasly up in a 10th. So, Working lap 46, 10 to go. Leclerc, Sainz, Verstappen, Norris, Piastri, Perez, Russell, Hulkenberg, Lawson, and Colapinto as your top 10. How about that? Lewis Hamilton's still the only driver out. Oh, this is getting very, very close. And you know what? If you're Verstappen, you've got about 60 points as it finishes here. You've got about 60 points to Norris. There's only 5 races to go after this. Maybe if you really force it, you can have Norris eat a DNF as long as you get one too. You know what I mean? Maybe if he sends it, you just don't pull out. It's a bit like that was the big contentious point with Verstappen and Hamilton a few years ago as well, in that Verstappen could force a crash and it wouldn't be enough for Lewis, but it could be enough for Verstappen if they both didn't finish. Oh, Max Verstappen really made a meal of turn 1. Norris is right on him now. Norris is going to be getting by, surely. And then there's, what is that, about 8 seconds up the road to Carlos Sainz. So Norris has dropped quite a bit of time here to Carlos Sainz in second. I think third might be as good as it gets then, because there's only about 10 laps to go. Verstappen is making Norris push his tyres hard here as well. So a big bit of that tyre offset is going to be eaten up here. Verstappen wide at turn 11. I think he's really trying to open up that corner. Get a bit of extra speed down the straight into turn 12. Again, turn 1, turn 12, that's where he has to cover. Oh, but they're both big DRS zones, especially turn 12. They're going nearly side by side. Oh. I tell you, if Norris wants to send it down the inside of turn 12, all Verstappen has to do is just hang around the outside and then just say, hey, I got forced off. Oh, it's very, very close here. Oh, very, very close around the long right hander. Norris falls behind. Through turn 19. Into turn 20. Verstappen once again stays ahead, but for how much longer can he keep this up? Lando Norris is getting closer to him, and he looks likely to make the pass, doesn't he? Remember Austria this year when these two came together? They were fighting for the lead then, very late in the race. You know, between that race, the points that McLaren, I think, screwed Norris out of in Hungary, we'd have I think a lot more solid of a title fight going on. Not the fact that Lando's been making a right old meal of his race starts most of the year. It's very tense now. Like I said, about 10 laps to go. I think this is bubbling up into quite a nice race. And even fighting, they're kind of keeping pace with the Ferraris ahead of him, so I think Sainz doesn't really have a whole lot of pace to go, and I wonder if Verstappen is thinking that as well. Like, if Norris gets by me, then he could well get past Carlos as well. Norris again, all over the back of Max Verstappen, just sort of darting inside, darting outside. As they're going through turn 19 again, and then turn 20. God, they're really cycling through these laps quickly, aren't they? Lando. Oh, Max goes very defensive into turn 1. I don't know if that was the right move to go like that. He stayed ahead. Norris is right almost alongside him. In through turn 2. Just still, Max stays ahead in the S's. I have been saying Verstappen, surely, for my money, is out of reach in the Drivers' Championship. But I think if Lando can get this done, it would just be the most incredible shit. Oh, very wide again. Max Verstappen into turn 11. I think he's just trying to open up that corner. You know, I don't think that's him pushing too hard and making mistakes. I think he's just taking a different line there, trying to get on the power early out of turn 11 so that he's just a little bit too far down away from Norris into turn 12 at the end of the straight, and it's working so far. Now they've got traffic coming up ahead of them, which shouldn't be getting involved. Who's that? It's one of the Saubers. I think it's Bottas. Yes, it is, because Joe's quite a bit further behind. I don't know how sorry I can feel for a Formula One driver, considering, you know, they're getting paid out the arse to do probably the best sport in the world, but they're definitely the best job in the world. But I do feel bad for Joe, just how fucking shit that car is. I mean, at the end of the day, they are still risking their necks to do this. Verstappen again going very, very conservative into turn 1. Bottas gets out of the way there. Norris, I think, maybe a little bit flustered into there between the Sauber and Verstappen, stays behind him, so it looks a little bit like a carbon copy of the last lap, of the previous lap rather. Russell, by the way, is catching up to Checo Perez. They're running 6th and 7th. So it looks like it's going to be quite a humdinger of an ending of this race. We've got 6 laps to go after this one, and Carlos Sainz is about... how much further up the road is he? 8 seconds. So you know what? Verstappen has at the very least done his job. I think if Norris gets by, second place is out of the question. I think this is going to be a Ferrari 1-2. I mean, if nothing else, Piastri is further down the road. What is he? 6.5 seconds? Forget it. Oscar never came to the party. I think even if Norris gets by him here, that's what, 3 points, I think, of a differential, which is what he won yesterday. So they leave Austria, leave Austin rather. They leave Austin Ralia basically as they came in, which I think is perfect news for Max Verstappen. All you got to do here is just eke it out. Just, you don't need massive point jumps. All you need to do is just not concede any points. And if you're not conceding any points whatsoever to Lando Norris over a weekend, I think you can count that as a win. It's all about the championship now. This is a masterful drive out of Max Verstappen. This really, really is impressive. Now, what's he going to do into turn 1? Again, doing that alternate line. Just opening it up. I mean, Lando, it all comes down to now, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? Can you send it? Or are the stewards going to be little bastards and ruin everybody's fucking fun? Because they've been doing that all afternoon. Real motherfuckers there. Lando's gonna have to send it. Gonna have to send it. Again, Max Verstappen going that little bit deeper in the apex and getting a decent run out of turn 11. Norris does have DRS though. He's gonna just have to send it. He's closing this time. Max goes defensive. It's just not quite enough. It's not quite enough, and the switchback won't work here. He's just not finding the real estate that he needs to get it done. Oh, he is now though, side by side. Verstappen just stays ahead. Norris is getting very adventurous here. This is absolutely fantastic. So, I mean, Lando, God bless him, he's starting to learn. He's going to have to get creative if you're going to get by Max Verstappen here. I mean, Max is absolutely nailing these lines out of turn 20, out of turn 11, into turn 1 even. He's just absolutely nailing it. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. Again, going for that defensive line into turn 1. But I wonder just how much that's taking out of his tyres now, having to do that. Because look at Lando Norris being able to hold on so tight. He's getting very, very close. This is very tense. 5 laps to go, including this one. So Max has absolutely saved this weekend. I think even if Norris gets by today, I think it's okay. And looks like Norris is making the move. He's ahead. Max is going to force it. Is that going to be a penalty? Norris back onto the track and he's ahead of Max Verstappen. How about that? Ah, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant out of Max Verstappen there. Overtook me outside the track, says Max Verstappen. I think he might have been ahead on track before he went out there, mate. Again, it's sort of being forced off the track. So I see what Max is saying here, but I don't know. And he's hanging really, really close behind Lando Norris. I wonder if Norris is going to give him the position back then. Just cover off the bases. Oh, no, it doesn't look like he's going to give him shit. Norris very defensive on Max into turn 1. So Norris is holding on here. He's ahead as they go through the S's. Turn 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Verstappen radio here. He needs to give it back. Well, he's convinced. Yeah, Max is a wily old fox, isn't he? He reminds me of Fernando Alonso. Super quick, but also very, very clever with what he's doing with his car. So Lando is ahead on track, into the corner, and then he's sort of behind at the apex, but he does kind of get forced off. I don't know. You know what? I think the stewards might look at that. I wonder. I think the stewards might look at that, but I don't know because they've been because Norris was ahead going into the apex, not at the apex, but into the apex. Norris was ahead, and Verstappen has, you could argue, forced him off the road. At the same time, you could argue Lando has absolutely, yeah, there we go, leaving the track and gaining an advantage, noted. So that's what they're going with. It's interesting if you're George Russell, who kind of made that sort of a move earlier in the race and got pinged for forcing another driver off the track. I'm pretty sure I'm remembering that correctly. I don't know. It's very early today and it's all a little bit fuzzy. Anyway, Leclerc, with 3 laps to go, Leclerc, 6 seconds or so back to Sainz. About 11, nearly 12 seconds back to Norris. Verstappen, Piastri, Perez, and then Russell, half a second behind Checo. So I did say he was catching him. 3 laps to go, and I think this is going to be the battle to watch for the rest of the race. Just looking at the gaps, nobody is as close as this. So Russell 7th. Yeah, again, after starting for the pit lane, well done. Hulkenberg 8th, Lawson 9th, Colapinto 10th. That's a great result for Colapinto. Absolutely fantastic. Stewards are looking at it. Says the cunny badger to Max Verstappen. Under investigation. Yeah, they really are looking at it. Oh. Okay, so all Verstappen has to do now is... Okay, so now, if you're McLaren, what do? Do you tell Piastri to stay back in case Lando does eat 5 seconds? Because Lando could go from 3rd to 4th, or it could go from 3rd to 5th. Or if you ask a Piastri, do you push as hard as you can and give your teammate that little bit of an extra rub of the shits? Max is going for reposting Kimi memes. Well, I mean, Max wants to be Kimi now. Because it was Max getting kicked off that podium. Fucking Christ. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Alpines, you were ahead at the apex. Both cars went off the track. He also went off, so it was clear, says Lando Norris. I tell you, Norris was ahead going into the apex. I think that Max Verstappen has intentionally run him wide. And, I mean... maybe it's skirting on the edge of dirty driving. Maybe you could say Norris should have backed out of that. But, you know, if you're going to do that, then all you got to do as the car on the inside is run the other guy off the track, and then that's it. Game over for the rest. You know, there will be no more passing in F1 if you can do that. It's a fine line they got to skirt here. Oh, Max has exceeded his track limits. Okay, so Red Bull think that Norris is going to be incurring a penalty for track limits here. He was doing this at Austria as well, wasn't he, when they ended up colliding? So they're telling Max flat out, basically just stay within 5 seconds of Lando Norris, because he could well be getting a penalty here. Could be getting a double penalty. Now again, if you're McLaren, do you tell Piastri to drop back? Do you tell Piastri to drop back? Because he's only got 1.5 laps to go. I don't think he's going to be getting by Max Verstappen. He's too far behind. But if Norris does eat a penalty, especially if he eats 2 of them, and you could have Piastri fall back quite a lot, you know, maybe it saves a 4th place. That's George Russell finally getting past Checo Perez. So Perez down to 7th, George Russell up to 6th. I don't know what... I love Checo. I love him. I really, really do. I've been a big fan of Checo for years and years and years. No more track limits. So McLaren are telling Norris, do not go off the track limits anymore. Red Bull are convinced that he's had 4 then. They're convinced he's had 4. McLaren are saying he's had 3, so... This is going to be another one of those races where afterwards we're going to have to wait and see what the stewards say before we figure out who finishes exactly where. I mean, it's pretty easy to figure out who's going to finish in 1st and 2nd here, and it will be Charles Leclerc and it will be Carlos Sainz. 1, 2 for Ferrari today. It's going to be absolutely fantastic for the Tifosi. They've fucking killed it today. Lando Norris penalty. There it is. What's it going to be? 5 seconds for track limits? Now, Piastri is more than 5 seconds behind Norris. I wonder if they're going to give him another one. So Norris could end up finishing 5th here instead of 4th. Charles Leclerc comes around the final corner to win. Absolutely fantastic out of Charles Leclerc. Perfect today. Absolutely perfect. Didn't put a single foot wrong. I think he's been absolutely perfect from start to finish. Not quite a headline-grabbing drive, you know, or an attention-grabbing drive, rather, because Norris and Verstappen were taking up a whole lot of TV time there. But Charles Leclerc, just masterful. Absolutely brilliant execution there. Did it absolutely perfectly. Took the lead right at the start. Never let it go. Just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Ocon with the fastest lap. At the back there, I saw him pitting with a couple of laps to go, and I figured that's what they're going for. So that would be trying to take points away from Red Bull, well, the Visa Cash App, or the Williams down there. Actually, probably trying to take a point away from potentially Williams, which is weird because they didn't have the fastest lap before that. Either way, bit of gamesmanship, and that's why they're ditching the fastest lap point from next year. And I'll be honest, I'm not fussed either way. So, Verstappen up to 3rd in the end. It's not quite the meme from years ago, but it almost was. So there we go, Norris. Okay, so here we go. That's the end. Great drive out of Leclerc. Solid drive out of Carlos Sainz. Ferrari have been brilliant this weekend. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, so Norris not happy with this penalty, as you would expect him not to be. So that, to me, is a little bit of a can of worms, I think, that they might have opened there. Because it really does, you know... I don't know how you police sort of shit like that. Like, if you are on the inside, all you have to do is run the other guy out wide and you can never be passed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Not quite sure about that one. Not quite sure about that. So anyway... Leclerc in the end wins brilliantly, absolutely brilliantly, by 8.5 seconds to Carlos Sainz. Max Verstappen ends up 3rd after the Lando Norris penalty, then Lando Norris in 4th, and we'll see if he stays 4th, because I wouldn't expect him to get another penalty, but we'll see. You never know with these stewards. They've been absolutely fucking rubbish all day, so who knows? Who knows what's coming? Piastri in 5th, a little bit anonymous today. Solid, but definitely not one of his higher point races, especially lately. It's probably one of his weaker ones of lately. Anyway, George Russell 6th. Great drive, great recovery drive out of the pits. Checo Perez in 7th. Fuck, mate. he, yeah, I don't know. I don't think Checo has a lot of confidence in that car. I don't think he has a lot of confidence in that team. I think the team are losing confidence in him. I'm not sure if we're going to see him back here in a Red Bull in Austria. Or in Austin, rather, next season. I keep saying Austria for some reason. Probably because I'm a dickhead. Anyway, Nico Hulkenberg 8th. Liam Lawson 9th. Colapinto 10th. 8th, 9th, 10th. Great drive from all of them. Liam Lawson in the points already. So, you know, he's making his case. He's really stating his case. That's decent out of Liam Lawson. First race in nearly a year as well. So, he's done well there. Colapinto as well. Another point for Williams. He looks like the faster driver out of those two lately, doesn't he? I wonder how much longer we'll end up seeing Albon at Williams. I mean, he's kind of their special lad right now, but, you know, lagging behind a new teammate will turn that sour very quickly. Then we got Kevin Magnussen 11th, Gasly 12th, Alonso 13th. Oh, a painful race for Aston Martin. Gen 3 ain't working, fellas. Tsunoda 14th. It's going to be absolutely spewing about that. Stroll 15th, Albon 16th, so a bit of a punishing race back there. Bottas, Ocon, who pitted late, and Zhou Guanyu finished dead last. What can you expect? That Sauber sucks. And then Hamilton, the only non-finisher with a big old DNF after, only 2 or 3 laps this morning. Charles Leclerc out of his car, embracing his team. They're loving him. That's 3 wins this year. 3 wins. It's more. That's interesting. I think. How many wins did he get in 2022? Trying to remember this. Trying to remember. He got only the 2 at the start of the season, and was that really it? I thought he got maybe another one. Either way, 3 wins I think at least equals the most amount of wins that he's had in a season. Fair play to Ferrari, you know. It's a shame they haven't been more consistent this season, or Leclerc could have been a great contender in a title fight. And I tell you what, if we get to next season and Red Bull are still struggling like they are, and Ferrari look as strong as they are, and McLaren look as strong as they are, I mean, between Norris, Piastri, Hamilton, Leclerc, Verstappen, 2025 could well be an all-time classic of a season. And who knows what Mercedes are going to do, you know. I mean, George Russell 6th after starting from pit lane. Mercedes have been catching up. We could be in for a great season next year. We really, really could. And that's, you know, notwithstanding all the other points to keep an eye on, you know. Like, what the fuck is going on with Checo? What the fuck is on his face? I'm assuming, like, his drink has spilled or some shit in the cockpit, because he looks like he's got serious gamer Dorito fucking stain next to his mouth. Whatever. Next season I'm really excited for now. Really, really excited. Just the prospect. And maybe they won't all get it wrong. Oh, they won't all get it right. They won't all get it wrong. Maybe it will be a lot like this season, but probably without the Red Bull jump start on everybody. It could be great. It could be great. And who knows what Audi are going to do. Who knows what's going to happen with the second Red Bull seat. If maybe you've got Lawson in there, or maybe they go for a total wild card. Who knows what Aston Martin are going to be able to conjure up for next year as well. Nui won't be working on that car, so I couldn't imagine it would be that great, but it could be a great season. It really, really could be. Sorry, I'm just DJing like a mad cunt here, just trying to keep this on my head as Jenson Button's talking to Max Verstappen. So that's it. I think it's time to wave the checkers on this episode, on this round 19 of the F1 Championship, and round 19 of Turn 15 this year. Thank you very much for watching, whoever you are, wherever you may be. Peace be with you and your family. Speaking of the family, there is the Cunny Badger standing with his family, who he's... at this point, I just feel like he's parading them just to, like, I don't know, make a point to, who knows, Zach Brown, maybe. I don't know. It's a fucking weird one, that Christian Horner. Anyway, great race. 4 stars. That was great. That was very entertaining. Oh, 3.5. 3.5 to 4 stars. Solidly entertaining. Good amount of strategy. Good amount of intrigue at the end. The stewards fucking suck, and they need to look at themselves in the mirror. They really, really do. If they could see themselves in the mirror, fucking vampires sucking all the fun out of me F1 racing today. But you know, we'll see what the wash up is with all of this, like leaving the track, gaining an advantage and all of that, because Zach Brown is going to be fucking furious. Lando Norris is going to be furious, and yeah, it's going to be, I think that will be the talking point until we get to next week in Mexico City. Another early race, another punishing fucking race for us poor cunts down here, down under. But fuck it, we'll get to that when we get to it. 4-star race, lovely stuff. Leclerc, probably for me, driver of the day. Russell, decent recovery. Verstappen, very, very good at holding on there. I think maybe a little bit of an assist from the stewards there. I'm not saying that they're dirty. I'm saying that they're fucking incompetent. That they are stupid as shit. Lost my train of thought. Anyway, Leclerc, driver of the day, which makes sense because he's the winner. And that's my own personal driver of the day. I don't give a fuck what all these Drive to Survive morons vote for on Twitter. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back next week. Mexico City. Could be fun. Could be fun. In fact, most of the races this year have been very fun, so I'd say it probably will be fun. Mexico's always a little bit of a wild race as well. You never know quite what to expect there. No Vettel to go crazy this year. Who knows who's going to be throwing a massive tantrum next week. Although money is, it's probably going to be somebody wearing a Red Bull kit, whoever it may be. It's probably going to have that logo on them somewhere. Anyway, thanks for watching. Lovely to have you along. I hope you have a great day, great afternoon, great evening, wherever you may be. Catch you next time. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Bye-bye for now. Ta-ta.